Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu Gwyn, and the Insider crew.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 199.
Ooh.
I think for our listeners, this will be the last podcast that they'll hear for 2025.
Correct. Yep.
Wow. And then one away from the big 200. Well, everyone, you're probably amidst all the holiday celebrations. So from all of us, we wish you the very best, and we're looking forward to 2026 with you. Want to thank, of course, our presenting sponsor who's been with us from the beginning, Pirelli. Pirelli tires have to achieve the highest levels of performance, safety, noiselessness, and grip on the road surface. Innovative tires that can satisfy even the most specific mobility needs of the end consumer. And thank you all for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member and own a Porsche, what are you waiting for? Grab that VIN, head over to pca.org and make yourself a member. If you don't currently own a Porsche, check out our test drive program where we unlock resources to help you find that special Porsche for your garage or driveway. Again, just head over to pca.org. At the table, of course, I have Manny to my right. Damon's at the controls. And back to the show is Michael Maurer, a longtime PCA member who has sold Porsches for over 30 years.
Wow.
Wow, that sounds so cool. Doing anything for 30 years is an accomplishment, let alone selling Porsches.
But when you're having fun, remember, time flies.
Exactly. Speaking of having fun, how was everyone's past week since our last get together?
So I'm waiting. I bought the set of wheels for the Macan. They're on the car, but the center caps that he gave me didn't have the crest in the middle.
What did they
Not
have?
colored crest? Or
Nothing at all. Where the crest would go is empty.
Huh.
So you don't really notice it because it's all black.
Yeah,
But I thought, let me get the
kinda
correct.
strange.
And one of them, because they have the plastic tabs on the inside.
Yeah.
They're not like the ones that fit on my 964.
Yeah.
So I look online and I find some as cheap as $40
Oh, Chinese specials.
For all four?
for all four.
Oh, gosh.
Delivered. So
Whoa.
I'm waiting to see what these look like. It's colored crests, and the pictures look great.
They're coming across the globe. Will they be
They
hit?
come from California.
Oh, California. Oh, so you've got a
no
U.S.
tariffs.
Okay.
Well, speaking of tariffs, also, I'll report on those, how those look like. I got no one to blame but myself for $40 expecting anything other than... We'll see.
If they fit, you'll be you'll be happy.
I will be if it fits because it's just winter tires. So,
Yeah.
So the book that I got, the motorsports book from Type 7, that at least on my social media feed, they're advertising like crazy for this book. I thought I wasn't going to have to pay tariffs because I got it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
But now, yesterday, I got an email from FedEx.
You did.
$44.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay, so just make sure you
it's
plan on.
around 11% of the. So normally the book would be $400.
Wow.
So you figure.
So you got that like a week after you got the book.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Somebody said, "Well, you got the book, you don't have to pay it." I'm like, "This is FedEx."
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
be like the credit reporting, get a FICO score of 500 because I don't want to pay $44.
Your student loan is in
Yeah.
default.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do you want to give a shout out to the tire supplier for your winter tires? Didn't you have an ordeal with sizing?
Yeah, I have not talked to the seller yet.
Oh, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Not the seller, but the you bought tires from. Someone.
No, because it hasn't. They haven't finished the transaction.
Oh,
yet,
they
so
haven't.
I'll wait till.
Okay.
Hopefully
it ends well.
Lovely FedEx, who must be hiring temps right now. They picked up the tires to take back.
Yeah.
And they said, no problem. My mechanic said, I haven't had a chance to put the labels on. Let me put the labels on. And the driver said, yeah, no problem. I'll put them on myself.
Yeah.
Never put them on. 2 days later, the tires get delivered back to the shop.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then like, what an idiot. So
Yeah.
tomorrow I got to go I'm going to pick them up and drop them off directly myself
Okay.
at FedEx. And
Well, I had my little FedEx episode. We ordered for the office here some air tags, and they got shipped to my house. But for some reason, air tags have to be signed for, and so you go home and you see these white tags on your door. And of course, I signed it. Just leave it here. And the next day I come home, a second white tag. Like they wouldn't leave it.
For
I'm like,
air tags.
well, I didn't know what it was initially,
yeah,
but after the third time, they delivered on Saturday, and we were home, and I'm like, really? Signatures
From Amazon, or where'd you order from?
From I forget where it was. Yeah, I don't know. The staff ordered it.
I don't have an Amazon account, but my kids do.
Yeah.
So they've been shipping all the Christmas gifts to us, and but they don't ring the doorbell or anything when they drop stuff off.
They don't?
They just leave it on the porch.
Yeah.
Oh, they just interesting.
So I mean, one time it was the next morning. I went to work, and there's 2 Amazon packages sitting on and I looked at my phone. They delivered like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh yeah. Well, they didn't want to wake you up.
So,
Well, in the cold weather, too, I had something delivered 2 days ago. I didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
Opened the garage door this morning. Went, oh, look at that! Oh, they're nice and frozen, preserved, shall we
Yeah.
say?
Speaking of cold, speaking of tires, you really admit that winter is here when you mount your winter tires, and so I mounted the winter tires on the Cayenne. And I will say, have you ever experienced where the I guess the pin inside one of your valve stems? Because once I put my tires on, I went around and checked the tire pressure on them to make sure that they were correct. And the next morning, my front left tire was probably down to like 10 pounds. And I'm like, oh man, did I run over a hole?
Yeah.
But as soon as I took my cap off, I noticed that the pin was like kind of pushed in a little bit. So I kind of wiggled it a little bit and just moved it around and aired it up, and all is good. So thankfully it wasn't a puncture, but I didn't know that. I guess the cores of valve stems might get.
Well, that's the way you used to bleed it off, bleed
Yeah.
the air down.
Right.
Yeah, but it was just out of whack.
It
I
was
never
just out
heard
of-
them just going loose though.
Yeah. So it wasn't that it was loose. It was just that it was like stuck in like not
Off to the side or
fully
something? Yeah.
off or whatever you want to
Do
call
you
it.
keep a cap on it?
I do keep a cap on
Really?
it. Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. But they are old wheels, so maybe that's something where people, I know like when we get tires mounted, I always ask for new valve stems, which has a new core and stuff like that. So anyways, I didn't get to go to the new member party, which I heard was extremely well attended. I was at home trying to stay warm and turn my oil return tubes around. And I'm happy to report that after 1 week, and they are not leaking, and all went well.
This is good.
It's good. But that leak that I had, because I left it on the rack for about 2 weeks, I leaked about a quart and a half of oil, which is a lot. Which is a lot. And the sad part is there was a BMW underneath the 911 that collected some of that oil on the rear trunk lid. I had a drip tray, but drip trays only work if you place it exactly where the drip is.
Yes, the
I missed it.
details.
Details. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about remembering Porsche's entry-level sports cars from the past. We'll discuss why these cars were built and how, and the reason why you're here is how well they were received and if they are collectible today. So,
And the reason I came up with this is because all over the news now, and this drives me nutty, is that one news agent, one website will come out with an article, and then everybody and his brother rewrites the article and comes out with the same thing, but you read it, nothing's new.
Yeah. And
the news was that Porsche is going to be building Cayman and Boxster ICE engines.
right.
And so Porsche has announced that officially they will bring back like the GT4 RS and the RS Spider. What kind of form, we don't know yet. The rumor is, and I think Damon had a good observation, that'll probably be a hybrid system like they use in the GTS. And that would, to me, would make perfect sense. But as far as coming back with the old Boxster, old Cayman, there's no proof of that or anything.
No.
But you read these headlines,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a done deal. But
Because
then
they
you
feed
read,
off each
but
other.
you read really at the bottom, it's like reportedly at the end.
Yeah.
Porsche has
Reportedly.
not confirmed any of this.
All those little words that mean a lot.
Details.
So you gotta. For those of you who are listening to this, just remember they're working off rumors.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
nothing that Porsche has officially. I think. I don't know if they even officially acknowledged that they're making a Cayman. They were making a Cayman electric car. Remember, every time we would talk to them ask them a question about it, they're like, We know nothing about that car.
Yeah.
That blank
And I'm
stare.
like the one that everyone, his brother, including you guys, are testing at the Nürburgring. We know nothing about that.
Nope. We have no idea. No idea.
So just keep us. Anyways, I do believe because of the financial stresses that Porsche's experiencing right now, that made me think in past history, when Porsche's run into where, hey, we better tighten our belts, which, of course, we last podcast we talked about a Porsche is going to be doing some
Belt tightening.
realignment of positions, and people are going to be let go and blah, blah, blah. Usually this means that we're going to get some kind of entry-level car, because that's the quickest way to get revenue into the company is to bring a car that more people can afford to buy. And so that I look back at Porsche history, and there's like 5 big models, if you want to say, that were Porsche entry-level cars. So that gave me an idea, and then we were talking. Mike probably experienced quite a few of these, either on the sales floor, or just remembers when they came out and how they were initially viewed, and we can talk about how they're viewed today and whatnot.
All right. Well, let's go deep into our past, back to 1956, and talk about the 356.
But it's been in
Speedster.
1954, actually.
Oh, 54.
54 was the first one.
Oh.
Yeah.
58 was the last year, is that
50,
correct?
actually 59, they were
59?
still building
59.
some
Yeah.
Porsche built some 58 technically was, but Porsche built some in 59 that were for customers that wanted to still race them. So a lot of them were GTs. But yeah, so I always, when I write this stuff, I got to make sure I get the outliers, because otherwise
Yeah.
the
comments will come
the
alive.
historians on our club will correct me very quickly.
So 1954.
54 was the first one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Max Hoffman saying, please send us an affordable car. But price-wise, the price point of the early Speedster was in the
$29.95.
$29.95.
I remember that poster.
But my dad bought a 57 356A, and it was $3,000. So there was only about a 10% price differential, base price, between the Speedster and a 356A coupe. I think $1,300, the base model.
Yeah.
So, but it was 10%.
Because for Porsche at the time, that was pretty hard for them to meet that $3,000 price point. They had to, and I think someone pointed this out to us. If you look at the original advertising poster, there's no side mirrors, because that was optional. In the early cars, the tach was optional, heating was optional.
Yes.
A lot of things were optional in the car. That they almost called them. I think they called them mandatory options, meaning
Yes.
that the dealers automatically ordered them with either side mirrors, heat, a tach. Because I'm thinking, I would love to see a Speedster with no tech on it.
I was about to say,
really
I
strange.
don't think I've ever seen.
You know, with that whole filled, and odds are, 56 guys who can chime in here, I would love to know. But I would imagine odds are there probably are none that they were all ordered with a tach. But that's one of the things when I did my research. It said that the tach was an option initially. I think later on in the Speedsters it became a standard.
So how do you think at the time, the 356A, was the predominant car, but when they clamored for an affordable car, the body of the Speedster was much different from an A. Like how did they cover that cost for the Speedster?
I think they knew they were going to make a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
enough for them to invest in a new body.
because
to make a cheaper
they
car.
wanted to capture the people that were buying the British sports cars.
Yes.
British.
That's,
Yep.
Max Hoffman
Yeah.
wanted to. He knew they were losing business to. Which you look at those cars, and it's almost laughable that you would compare an MG, TD maybe, that was a
TC, TD, yeah.
was contemporary car to the 356.
Yep.
The 356 looks so much more modern
Yeah.
than those cars. But if you look at the period photographs, those cars were on the racetrack.
And how did they compare price-wise to the Speedster, like those British cars back then?
Significantly less.
They were like
20%, 16 to 1800.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was. So even though this was a base car, this was still a premium sports car price.
Oh, yeah, it was. Porsche was never affordable.
No.
It was always something that was just a little beyond the reach of many people, or way out of reach.
That's funny that you said that, because you always, or at least some of your friends, always talk about how Porsche, doesn't make an affordable.
Well, no, the comment I remember reading was Porsche needs to go back to making cars that the working man can afford.
That's what it was. That's
Working-
what it was.
no,
I'm like,
working man
when
could
did the
never
working
afford
man have a Porsche? Yeah. So what you just said is true. It's like it's always been a premium.
Yes.
Yeah, and they made
yeah.
they never hid the fact that they were essentially a luxury car maker. And if you wanted a working man's car, you bought a VW.
Well, in '57, the Volkswagen Beetle was $1,400,
Yeah.
and at $2,800. That's double the price. I mean, that's
Yeah, it was a
a
lot,
big
yeah.
jump.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, a Volkswagen Beetle is not a Speedster or a 356, but that shows you the price differential. That's huge, double the price. Oh, gee.
Well, even with that big price tag, I think they sort of hit the mark for enthusiasts, because if I look back at the print that we have on the wall right outside of accounting from the very first Porsche parade here in Gaithersburg, that parking lot photo has at least 11, maybe 10 or 11 Speedsters there. So like the enthusiasts got it right away, and they
Which is really impressive when you think about the fact that picture was in Virginia, not Southern California.
Right,
So
right.
these are people that were, especially, I'm sure they didn't come from California for the first parade. So let's say they came from Ohio or something.
Yeah.
With the point being, these were not the best cars in bad weather.
Right,
Which
right.
we have. We have
Right.
rain. We have snow. They had plastic side curtains. The windows didn't roll up or down. And they didn't have any rear defrosters or front defoggers.
And also, my dad, we were living in Europe, and I was a little boy, but Dad wanted a Speedster, and you couldn't get them in Europe. They were designated to the U.S. market.
U.S. only.
Yeah, that was, let's send the cheap ones to the Americans so that they can buy Porsches and have them seen, because they were so exclusive, except in Southern California. So,
Yeah, you compared it to a cabriolet.
oh, yeah.
The cabriolet had the padded top, much more luxurious, where the Speedster was just a very thin top. You could see all the bows and everything.
What's the earliest cabriolet? With that,
At least 50, right?
51,
Yeah.
50, yeah. My 356 knowledge is skinny at best.
someone will tell us online.
Yeah.
But I mean, the cabriolet was out, so there was the drop top 356 available, but this was more sporting, different windshield, lower price, lighter weight.
Side curtains.
And if I've had the opportunity to drive a Speedster, and I gotta tell you, even at today's, speeds and traffic, a Speedster, no problem hanging with modern traffic. It's pretty cool.
They feel so light and so nimble, and just it's a real experience. Everybody should.
But not so light where it's like scary that you're gonna feel like you're gonna get blown off the road.
nimble,
Yeah.
nimble,
Yeah.
and maneuverable. So.
And these, if you fast forward to today, because you talk about collectability of, I think we all know it's incredibly collectible, but a Speedster now runs in what price territory?
I bet you for one that is not a project
Damon's got one up here.
Yeah.
1956 356A Speedster that was sold September 16th. $250,000.
That sounds like a pretty good deal, too.
That's a non-numbers matching, probably.
Yeah.
For $250.
Yeah, that's a good driver.
Especially in that color, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's...
A repaint from something else.
But when you compare like a Speedster to once again a cabriolet at the time, it was a pretty significant drop. Which made people who wanted to get into convertibles a much easier decision if they were willing to live with some of the luxury items gone. I think I thought was funny was the passenger side sun visor was optional.
Oh.
Every little piece.
The driver had that. Well, we saw. Mr. Bill has the luxury, the touring seats, but the car came with standard bucket seats. Which some people didn't find comfortable, like the regular sedan seats. But back then, headrests were optional for the passenger or the driver.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes the driver would just get
Mr.
the
Bill's car
headrest.
also has the optional
Armrest
on the doors, right?
Which
Yeah,
is rare.
which is pretty cool. Yeah,
Let's see. Yeah.
Luxurious Speedster.
luxurious, exactly. All right, well, let's fast forward to the next one. This is sort of when the 356 era was moving into the 911, but then there was sort of an in-between, an affordable vehicle that I have to be honest with you, the first time I was in California where one of Loan's best friend, her then boyfriend, drove a Porsche, and of course they knew that I always wanted a Porsche, and they, they're gonna pick us up in his Porsche. I was like all excited, right? And then I hear it ding 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 ding, ding like this like bug sounding engine.
Volkswagen's a four-banger.
I mean, again, not to be disrespectful, but like I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better, and a silver, what looked to be a 911, but it sounded like a bug, and I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh, it's a 912. I'm like, oh, okay, and like I really like did not appreciate it like I do today, because I was just like, well, how come you didn't get the 911? But it was a cool ride. We went all around Hollywood in it, and
cool.
but there was a time when you could pick up 912s just 15 maybe 20 years ago for cheap money. But now I think they've seen their day where it's kind of come into their own. So tell me a little bit about how the 912 came to be.
Well, they were developing it with the 901. Actually, it was called the 902, because they knew that the pricing of the 911 was going to alienate a lot of the 356 customers. It was a big jump to the 911, so they needed something to buffer until people got used to the pricing of the 911, and it made sense that, hey, it's not that hard to put in a 356 engine in here and set it up for a 356 engine, and like the body and everything's the same. Initially, they only had 3 gauges instead of the 5. They still had the dash set up for the 5, but they only had the 3 in the middle, which also made 356 owners kind of comfortable because they were used to a 3 dash or 3 gauge layout. And you know, from the outside, it looked like a 911 until you turned it on, or you tried to race one at a stop sign, and then you realized that you didn't have much power. So they took the 356 SC, and I think they detuned it by 5 horsepower.
They detuned it.
Yeah. Was it 95 or 90 horsepower? I think they got it down to.
Yes, it was only about 10 horsepower, I think, 95 or even 10 horsepower.
Difference?
From the 356, the SC.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a drop, but it was an engine that 356 owners who were very familiar with the car, so that if they wanted to do the work themselves, this wasn't a big jump from to the flat 6, which was a whole different design of an engine.
Yes.
So I understand the reasoning and why they would be familiar with it, but do you think 356 individuals embraced the 912 over the 911? I feel like the 912 from the very beginning, unlike the Speedster was, you know, less amenities, but it was lighter. It was kind of sportier looking. It was more performance oriented. So I don't think its birth kind of started with with a lot of excuses. I'm trying to not to like get myself into this corner, but I think the 912, you come out with a car that's heavier, and it has a detuned engine. It's slower than a 911, and the 356 people probably, I don't know. I didn't know how was it received?
Well, the affordability issue is a big part of that. Take a 912, $4,600. Same 911 was $5,700. A big jump.
A sizable.
Let's say $4,700 to $5,700. That's a jump. Also, from a business perspective, production, you got these 356 engines. Still, they didn't know when they were going to cease production of the 356, the SC. So we've got, we can use these 4-bangers, and we can put them into a car, put it at an affordable price, kind of like the Speedster. Let's get rid of the top. Let's get rid of the roll-up windows. So the 912 made perfect sense from many perspectives, and at one point, the 912 was outselling the 911.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know that.
Little known fact.
Yeah, I mean, it's
makes
like
sense.
a lot of base models outsell the GTS or S models because people can get into the car at a much cheaper entry price. So the 912 was actually fairly well received by the media when it came out too. What people now know is that the car was lighter and the engine was pushed closer to the middle of the car.
Yes.
Didn't
Better
have as
balance.
far hanging out rear, so it actually was a better handling car than the 911, although it didn't have that extra power that the flat six had. And but I think as the car got older, when I joined in the 80s, and I was doing all my research to see what Porsche I wanted to buy, that they would tell you in the 912, just save your money and get a 911.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to be happy with the horsepower, or you're going to want to put a six-cylinder engine in it. And they basically told you to shy away from the 912 and just go for a 911 because you'll be happier.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny nowadays, right? That they and I'm sure a lot of people put six cylinders in them.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that far of a stretch to put a six in it. It's just how it was received.
But I still think they are. I would say, how they're. I don't know. Would you say that 912s have its full sort of respect and is mainstream? Because I feel like I don't see that many of them, and I don't know that I hear much about them.
I've seen growing respect.
Growing respect for sure.
Yes,
but not
people-
like a Speedster.
or not like a 911S.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I would agree with you there.
But I think that for the money right now, I think
Oh.
they're still like a great buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's one. Damon just threw up August 10th auction on Bring a Trailer. 65, 912 5-speed, $75,000, which looks to be like a nicely
Yeah.
restored vehicle. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
to me a lot of classic car for the money it has.
Air-cooled
very
911. I mean, air-cooled Porsche. Yeah.
cool vintage looks, and you know,
Because now 60 years later, the 911 isn't that fast compared to in modern times. You know, if people get into a 911 of that vintage,
Yeah.
they're going to say, "Oh, this isn't as fast as I thought it'd be."
right? Oh yeah,
Damon, can you hold that picture? See the rear end of the 912?
yeah.
The bars going horizontally across.
Across the bumperettes, yeah.
That was a very, very popular AMCO, AMCO, made those because the license plate and the rear valence was so subject to being bumped into.
Huh.
So everybody had to have that.
But that was not a factory option.
Oh no, that was aftermarket.
That's a great way to hide your license plate from
Oh,
the
yeah.
police that's chasing you. Not that anyone would do that.
But yeah, that was a very
But you're in the
popular.
912, they're going to catch you.
That's your-
I'm
you're
just
just-
kidding,
Oh.
912 guys.
Oh, see, I was very respectful. Manny, not so much.
You tee it up for me.
He couldn't help himself. But what a beautiful combination that we're looking at a black
Isn't that
912
pretty?
with red interior, chrome wheels.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a cool looking car for $75,000. And you couldn't touch an early 911 for that price, right?
No.
I mean, that's very tempting, like you
Yeah.
said. It looks like it's all set up, great interior, and it's a classic. I mean, I can't think of anyone that looks down at a 912 now.
Yeah.
It's always Cars and Coffees are always topic of conversation. You know,
And our 912s, do they have the difference in wheelbases?
same thing, same body,
Same wheelbases.
same
Okay.
body.
Okay.
In fact, one of the guys that comes to Cars and Coffee, he has a sunroof 912, which was I think really rare because you know
That's a luxury
'cause
option.
Yeah, sure. As
Yeah.
you added more options, you got closer and closer to the base
To
price of a
911,
911.
Yeah.
So at some point, you're like, wait a minute, maybe I should just get a 911.
Yeah.
So you didn't see a whole lot with sunroofs, and that's why a lot of them didn't have Fuchs wheels. They had this one they called Steelies.
Steelers. Yep.
And afterwards, people started putting Fuchs wheels, but originally they were even like 911Ts had steel wheels.
Yeah.
It wasn't like every single 911 came with Fuchs wheels.
You know what I find funny? I find funny that early cars, people that have sunroof in early cars, you go, ooh, ah. But then later cars, everyone's like, sunroof delete or slick top is the one to have.
So true.
Right.
Oh,
I think also the wave, and 912s were always coupes. No,
No
not-
Targa.
No,
No
no,
Targa.
Targa, but
no.
no cabriolet.
Well, there wasn't any cabriolets back then.
Oh, that's true.
Donna
Yeah.
Brandt has the Targa version.
Oh, and
for
the soft
68,
window.
912.
Soft window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To give you another differentiation in pricing, let's 912 approximately 4,700. 911 5,700. Volkswagen Beetle 1,700.
It's a
so you're
premium.
seeing a huge. You're starting to see a bigger gap.
Did the 912 come soft window Targa availability or no?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It did?
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Huh, so is that a premium?
Well,
Yes, it was a premium, and it's also very rare.
Yeah.
There wasn't too many.
Because you're adding price to the base car.
And he sold a lot of 912s. The Targas were much, much less. So if you can find a 912 Targa,
That's a rare car.
Very
it's a rare
rare.
car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell you why. Just back to the sunroof.
Yeah.
What I always wanted a sunroof 911 was the scene with Steve McQueen in Le Mans driving through the town of Le Mans. Remember, he had a
yeah.
sunroof 911,
Yes.
and that's stuck in my head. Between that and when the Big Chill, when William Hurt drove the Targa,
the green
early
and all
911, I used to watch that. That was kids. That was before the internet, so we didn't have
Yeah.
pictures we could go and Google and find. So I used to watch those two movies endlessly and
yeah.
pause
Yep.
when they would have the Porsche shots.
The Big Chill. That's
There's so many great movies from the 80s that
yeah.
just planted the seed for so many current Porsche owners.
I would agree
I'll
completely.
have to do I wish I could find. We'll have to do a podcast about Porsches and movies, but I did back in the early '90s when we had VHS players. I edited like a 1-minute cassette about a trivia contest with Porsche movies for the region.
Oh.
And
hey.
You still have it?
We need to go back
No,
to something like that.
But I played it, and then everyone would write down what movie they thought it was, and at the end we saw who had the most. And I had some obscure stuff in there.
Really?
I think I spent like $120 at the video rental place getting movies and bringing them home and editing the
That's funny.
place.
That's funny. That would be cool if you could find that
It would
VHS
be.
and we could digitize it. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate trivia movie.
I
and-
remember Lee Raskin, who was on the
Sure,
podcast, a James Dean expert. There was a movie with Holly Hunter and I think James Spader called Crash, and it's these people who enjoy watching crashes, and so there's this like underground club. Anyways, they go to a underground meeting where they recreate the James Dean crash.
Oh, really?
So in the movie, I mean, in the trivia contest, I spliced where they do the scene where they recreate the crash, and there's grandstands, and they have a replica 550, and then the Ford Tudor, and
Yeah.
everyone's dressed up in period. And so Lee was like afterwards, he's like, "What is that movie? Where'd you get it from?"
yeah, I've never
And I
heard
said,
of
I
it.
looked down at my list. I said, "Oh, it's Crash."
the movie is
And he's
called
like,
Crash.
"I've never." Yeah, he goes, "I've never seen."
Now I
I
gotta
think,
look
I think
it
it's
up.
called Crash.
Yeah.
I think
gotta
it's from the
find it.
'80s, and he went out right away. And he was like, "I got to see this. I've never seen this before."
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Nor have I. I've never even
I'm
heard
sure
of
if
it.
you YouTube it, you can find it.
Exactly.
Now we know the answer to that trivia
There you
question.
go.
Definitely not a movie for the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, David.
that
Yes, no,
Oh, really?
yes.
No, it's
David
very-
knows? It's very-
I've seen Crash. I've seen both Crashes.
Oh, there's
There's
two
one-
of them?
There was a later one that's nothing like the one that
Are
you're
you
talking
saying that
about.
because it's like gruesome?
No, it's
Yeah,
it's a fetish.
everything about it? Yeah,
Everything
it's a
about
crash fetish.
Oh, interesting.
So and everying that goes with. That
I was
sort of
trying to
stuff.
keep it peach or G
Oh, I didn't
rated
mean- I'm
before,
sorry.
before you start sweating and everything.
I didn't mean to go there. I didn't mean to go there. So
Sorry.
let's talk about the next affordable vehicle, a car that Manny loves, that, and I also have, or most people don't realize that I have, and we're talking about the 914.
Yeah, so that comes out. So the 912 finishes in '69, and Porsche obviously still needs an entry level car. They're liking having these younger folks coming into the dealership, and they were working on the project with Volkswagen. Was it Heinz Nordhoff? I think
it was Nordhoff.
Nordhoff,
Yep,
was
yep.
the CEO of Volkswagen, Ferry Porsche, and they essentially had a handshake agreement
Yes.
of how much Volkswagen was going to charge them to build the bodies and assemble, and then Porsche would do a 6-cylinder, and they would do that in-house in Zuffenhausen, and it would be sold as the Volkswagen Porsche in Germany and Europe, and then the United States would be sold as a Porsche. But Heinz dies.
Oh.
'69, I think, or '68. And the new guy comes in. He's like, "Yeah, there's nothing written. It's
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
we're selling this to you
Really?
way too cheap. Here's a new price." And suddenly, all the money that Porsche thought they were going to make on these cars dwindled because now they had to absorb the cost of what it was really going to cost to.
Was
produce
Porsche
these.
at this time like in distress, or were they just doing this to grow market share?
I have a feeling. You read history; they're always in distress.
Other than the Vita King days,
Yes.
when they were
Well,
doing
It seemed like they were
hedging
like one
currencies.
bad model away from
Going
from just
belly up.
belly up,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Because you think of all these cars that say Porsche. I'm thinking, when were they? When were they?
They're always
not?
being
And,
saved.
Well, it was always a design project for other manufacturers, or Vita King with his hedging and currency hedging. But yeah, that's
Yeah, so the 914, it was a departure styling-wise from what they had been doing. Although if you look at it, you can see that they use a lot of family highlights, if you will. When you get in the car, you had the race fenders, like a 911.
The signature, yeah.
But it was very boxy-ish, and so it almost became a love it or hate it type thing. But it was very sporty, and for what it was compared to the British cars and the Italian cars, it was miles ahead. It was mid-engine, which back then was not as common as it is. As it was, actually, nowadays it's not that common when you think about it. But for a while there, we had like MR2s that were mid-engine, Fiats and whatnot. But back then, it was either like the Miura you had to get, or a 917, or the 914. So for the 914 to be mid-engine as a entry-level car was pretty high-end. Plus, it had fuel injection, had four-wheel disc brakes, which you figure the 924 that replaces the 914 had drum brakes in the rear. It had the front end from a 911, transmission from a 911. And the engine was Type 4, which they were at the time was state of the art for Volkswagen. They were putting it and getting ready to put it in their buses. So you can imagine. You think of it now, you're like, it has a bus engine. Yeah, exactly. It has an engine that was going in a bus in a little tiny car. That's pretty impressive. A removable hardtop, two trunks. It packed a lot of convenience and practicality. So it actually sold very well. I'll bring up my article that I wrote because I actually put the production numbers for all these cars. It was over 100,000 cars they sell. So,
So what cars would have been sort of its competition when it came out? And
TR6.
TR6, yeah. A front engine car, rear-wheel drive.
You had the Fiat, was it
X19.
called Spider?
124, was it?
X19.
X19
But I think
with
they
the mid-engine.
They also did the 124, I think.
124 Spider.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Spider. And when every road test that I saw, including the Datsun 240Z,
Oh,
Porsche would come on top. Once in a while, a couple of them, sometimes the Datsun would come on top a little
Yes.
bit. But, because it was such neutral handling. And
it was very wide, right?
Yeah,
I
and the
mean,
steering was so light
Yeah.
because it had 911 steering with nothing in the front.
Yeah.
It was, very desirable. They would end up making 119,000 914s. To give you
across all of its years?
from 70 to 76.
Wow.
The 912 was 32,000. So
A lot more 914.
yeah, so you figure this was a good money maker for Porsche.
I
I don't know if it was a car to save Porsche,
Yeah.
but it was certainly a car that helped Porsche.
I wonder how the club reacted in those years.
So I did research on this because that also is my pet peeve when people say, and I'm sure the comments are going to say, "Well, I went to a meeting and somebody said 914s aren't real Porsches," and I can't control what your region said or what happened locally, but I can tell you from a national standpoint, I could not find one single negative comment about the 914. In fact, the club was very excited about the 914 coming out because they were calling it the next Speedster. Because, much like a Speedster, right? It was aimed at young people. It was a convertible. It was bare bones, very light, 4-cylinder. A lot of people were super excited. This was going to be the next coming of a Speedster. There's and I think the 1970 Panorama year, there's a quote from Chuck Stoddard, who was at a tech presentation, and someone asked him, do you consider the 914 a real Porsche because it uses Volkswagen parts? And Chuck paused, and he said, by you asking me that, you might as well ask me, is Porsche number 1 really a Porsche? The Porsche number 1 used majority of Volkswagen parts.
Yeah.
Of course we call it a Porsche because it was designed by Porsche. Porsche is the one who made it, and it's a Porsche.
Yep.
So he goes, so I look at the 914, he said, as a Porsche because it was made for Porsche. It's Porsche design, so it is a Porsche. So later on, it was very well received by the press. Styling was questionable, but the car's handling and whatnot was very well received. Later on, the car would suffer because, like all entry-level cars, they would call it the poor man's Porsche.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you had a lot of neglect.
Yeah.
Because they were prone to rust. You know, they became known as rust buckets. And with 119,000 built, I think a fraction of those survive today.
Yeah.
Now I think, whenever you take it to Cars and Coffee, people always gravitate towards 914.
They're so unique.
Yeah, a lot of people don't see them. And it's funny with the younger people, when I show them that top goes in the trunk, they're like blown away.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow.
Well, not only that, but you also have pop-up headlights, which is cool.
Oh, that was
it's
right.
a Targa.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I think I sat in your car. So I grew up with my dad and this photo of him standing next to a random 914 at like a rest stop. Like it's like an iconic photo like that I have amongst the family albums.
Wow.
But that's all I really like. My dad has always loved the 914. He always gravitated to them at shows. But the first 914 I actually like really saw was his 914, and I remember sitting in it for the first time and going, I can't believe how much like room is in this little car. Like if you were 6'2", you could fit in it.
There was a guy that got in that was 6'5".
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I told him, I said, that's as far as the seat goes back. And he's like, no, this is fine. He goes, this is pretty comfortable. He goes, I didn't think I'd fit in this.
And how low you said when you talk about go-kart handling, like I think that came about through the 914 because it feels like your buttocks is like 2 inches from the ground. And when you drive that low to the ground, I don't care what kind of power you have, like it just feels like fun.
Yes.
Because you look to your left and the 18-wheeler's lug nuts is like eye level. So as Manny said, not a lot of them didn't survive because they suffered rust or ill repair and just got crushed.
One of the engineering faux pas on this car was they put the battery inside the engine compartment in the middle, which was great, but they put it right on top of it was the engine grill, so it would rain and water would wash over top the terminals and wash all the acid and everything straight down into the
they call it the hellhole,
the longitudinal, and it would start creating what people call the hellhole. Yeah, which is kind of funny because Charlotte, member services manager, emailed me. She goes, "I'm afraid to ask this, but is there really a thing called a hellhole? And what is it?" And I laughed. I said, "Yes." I said, "Explain to her the 914." She goes, "Oh, I thought it was something else." And when a member asked me about it, I didn't know what he was talking about. But so you always hear people say, "Check the hellhole," because that's where. Now Porsche would make an easy fix to that. I think in '72 maybe, which was a plastic cover. Yeah. That kind of like a recall that sits on top of the battery. Now when it rains, the water splashes off the plastic cover, and doesn't carry all that acid down. But that was because the car was literally brick in half. When that longitudinal had rusted through, they were unibody, so that was a key part. And it was you would see sagging cars, and a lot of them when they started putting them on a lift, it would start breaking.
I have a close friend who was stationed in Germany back in that day. Bought a 914 and the door started rusting, he said, 6 months after he bought it. Oof. And he said there was this little Esso gas station near where he worked. And he said there were a couple of Porsches parked outside, and he thought, maybe they can help me with this rusted door. So he pulled in, met a young guy who has become a lifelong friend 40, 50 years later. That was Alois Roof, who was at the gas station.
Oh,
when they
really?
were just starting. Yes.
Oh, wow. That's
So
cool.
the rusty door led to a lifelong friendship.
So, Damon, we know these are rare now. I still think these are, again, if you're looking for an air-cooled classic car that's extremely unique when you go to a car show, you want go-kart handling, I still think it's a phenomenal buy.
There's one on the Mart right now that's a 72. I think they're asking 19,000. If it's not the original owner, the owner's had it for like decades.
Yeah.
California car, 1.7. It looks not a show car.
Are you rubbing
but
this in? Are you looking at me rubbing this in?
But it's very original.
Yeah.
No, because our friend Chuck, everyone in my Cars and Coffee group keep on looking for a car for Chuck.
Uh-huh.
And it's yellow. And he was like, I want green. He also wants it like 5 minutes from his house. So he doesn't drive far. But anyways, I thought that would be... for 18,000,
That's a lot. That's cool.
I daily drove a 72 914 when I was 20 for like 2 or 3 years. And when I mean daily drove, it's through winter, through snow, and they were pretty good in the snow because they had narrow
Are
tires.
you thinking of reliving your youth?
No. But I thought it would be a fun car to have for
Quick answer.
less than $20,000.
So, Damon, the one you had up there from Bring a Trailer, a 70 914, sold May of this year. $35,000 for a yellow 914 that looks immaculate. With black interior. Like, yeah, you can still get into these cars for that's less than a Honda Civic. Obviously, not necessarily the best daily driver, but
I get more thumbs up in my 914 than any other car.
than any
I
other
have.
car. Oh yeah.
Yep.
When I go fill up the gas, I make new friends because you have to lift up the front hood to be able to get to the
fill
gas.
it.
And people, you'll see them like peer around the corner
Yeah.
and try to look inside to see what I'm doing. And I remember a guy came up and he said, I don't know what kind of car this is, but it must be really cool if you got to fill up your gas tank
In the
that way.
trunk.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Well, the next car, entry level, in fact, not only will PAG be celebrating, but PCA will be celebrating starting at Works Reunion Amelia Island, and that is the transaxle cars, the 924 and the 944.
Or we celebrating 928?
And 928s.
Yeah.
All the transactions.
928 is not a entry level car, but
No.
the 924 was. And Mike, when did you start selling Porsches?
82.
Okay, so that's near the end of the 924.
Well, the 924 was a replacement for the 914.
Yep.
And it was also a joint project that most people weren't aware
Although
of.
I have to say this once again before the historians start roasting me.
Yes.
We had a 1-year car in -- called a 912E,
Yes.
which was a 911 only for the
Action
U.S.
Sports.
market or North American market. I think it was just U.S. That was a 76 911 with a 914 engine. 914 2-liter engine.
Oh, that's what the E was?
It was injection.
Injection,
but it was a
Eisenspritzer,
4-cylinder,
yeah.
and wasn't available in Europe. Still had the same 5-speed, basically the same idea as the 912, the original 912, but
Yeah.
that was also filled in just for 1 year until the 924 came.
And that was available worldwide or no?
Nope,
Just US.
US.
Just
yeah.
US.
When we were in Germany one time, we went to one of the car shows, and there was a guy with a 912, and I walked up to him and he bought it from the U.S. and had it imported.
Brought it.
I'm like, you must be like super rare when you show up and go there. No one knows what it is
Yeah.
when they see it.
So the collaboration for the 924 was not VW but Audi, right?
Well,
we think VW too.
yeah. Well, the engine was an Audi engine. It was built in Neckarsulm, the Audi factory.
Okay.
Initially,
Is that a good thing? Like, I don't know much about like that era Audi. Like,
To me, it's all in that family,
Yeah.
Porsche PX
Yeah.
family,
yeah.
yeah.
and they go. This is what they're going to do for the next entry level car too. They're not going to partner with Toyota or
Right.
GM or Ford. they're going to go to their own
VW
backyard
based or something.
and sure,
Yeah.
and get something from the parts bin or make something, just like the Macan. You know, the Macan, they went Audi, Volkswagen to build that. So with the 924, the big deal about that was the engine was in the front and they used antifreeze.
Water cooled.
Yeah.
The first water. The
This
first
was
water
a-
cooled.
Yes.
First water cooled.
Yep. This preceded the 928 by a year. It was it was a big change for Porsche.
Huge.
Kind of like when the Volkswagen went to the Golf or the Rabbit here in the U.S. And from the Beetle, that was a big change. They did the same thing essentially, right? They even went one step further. They made it front wheel drive. The 924 was rear wheel drive, but it was also a more modern car. It had a hatchback with plenty of space. It was I think a step up as far as technology and starting to show that Porsche was moving with the times. Air conditioning was, I think, dealer optional.
It was dealer optional.
Originally, yeah. But back then, it wasn't uncommon for cars not to have air conditioning.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like today.
Well, a lot of people are like, my air conditioning is to roll down the windows.
yeah.
I like nature.
255, two windows at 55 miles an hour.
Exactly.
I think my father bought an '82 Nissan. The first year Nissan, the brand came and they went from Datsun to Nissan. Had Nissan on the back tailgate and then real little letters that said Datsun.
Huh.
I guess not that they were transitioning, but that had no air conditioning.
Well, and a lot of people back in the day really considered air conditioning as something that takes away performance
Power.
because
Yes.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
The compressor really dragged down the engine. In fact, my '83 320 IS was special ordered without air conditioning, and I have a different center console because the guy ordered it without air conditioning. People,
Yeah, the 924, and Bob Gutjahr wrote this in the panel years ago. Some of them were really botched up jobs the dealer did, where, and once again, because they didn't come from the factory, just like the 914 air conditioning was all dealer installed, so there were different companies that offered air conditioning for 924s, and some of them looked, they did not look what I would call factory at all. They were,
but a 924 was still very much premium because it was much more expensive than, say, like a GTI. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It was almost $10,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was
It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fate that a lot of 924s and 944s ended up not so good. Like they fell into disrepair, and then to maintain them, a lot of the labor costs is still kind of Porsche labor
The
costs.
big cost from that was the clutch,
Really?
because you had to, I forgot how many hours, was it like 12 or 15 hours?
Huge.
To do
Yeah.
the clutch?
Just the labor.
Yeah.
It was.
I
big.
know a little bit about this. I think it was, at least with 944s, it was closer to 8 or so, and the turbos, 944 turbos, was more like 15, 16.
16
Hours.
what?
Hours.
Hours to do a
Yeah.
clutch?
Labor.
Yeah, so not quite 15 hours, I don't think, for the 924s, probably.
Because you had to lift the engine up a
not-
little bit
Yep.
and then move the transaxle back.
Yeah.
And it was not like a 911 or 914.
Wow.
Where it was much more involved. But they built a lot of them. So you have the 924 that comes out and as a 77 model in the U.S. It receives praise for its styling and handling. A lot of people said it was underpowered because the first ones were 95 horsepower.
Yeah.
They later jumped up to 110, but the first wave was 95, and used a 4-speed, not a 5-speed. Like I said, drum brakes in the rear. They didn't put disc brakes until almost 82. I think you had to get the option, or I think maybe in 79 they became available, but they weren't too
81,
popular.
82, that time frame.
You had to get the M, I forget which M option you had to get.
And a lot of cars in that era were around that 100 horsepower mark because for those of you that didn't live it, I mean, at the time, there was sort of this thing called a gas crisis, right?
There was.
And so it wasn't like you were looking for a 300 horsepower or something that gobbles
10 miles per gallon.
Exactly. So they had to have a performance car, but also be somewhat efficient. So yeah, there were some things you had to give up, so to speak.
But the funny thing with the 924, as opposed to the 944. The 924, you saw that adjusted valves.
Really?
They didn't have hydraulic valves like the 944. By the 944 time 944 comes out,
No.
it's a Porsche designed engine, and you don't have to adjust the valves.
Yeah.
Oh. So 924s these days are probably still at the very bottom of the pricing.
I would say the issue is the ones that are like featured in this that Damon's showing. They get
Whoa.
top dollar. That's the Martini edition. They
But
came
that's
out with
almost
77.
no money. So we're looking at 1977 Porsche 924 Championship Edition, 4-speed, sold just a month ago, out the door, $7,100. Are you kidding me? Like, you can't buy a used clapped out Corolla for $7,100.
You can't afford not to buy that.
And it's got like a
look at the interior.
Where are you
Martini.
looking for used clapped out Corollas?
71. Well, $7,100 is like no money.
Like it is. That's truly.
That's incredible.
I mean, my Cayenne was $3,500. I mean,
yeah, but look how nice this one is.
Oh my God, Damon! I think he just insulted you.
so
that looks like it's ready for a car show.
It does. Look at that. Wow.
Oh,
yeah. So little disclosure
okay.
here.
Now you're showing me the pictures where now. I
Well,
can
then
see.
underneath there's, I mean, that doesn't look bad. It
doesn't look bad.
Rust-wise, that's just service stuff. But
Yeah.
to me, I'm still of that mindset where how did any 924 ever sell for more than $7,100, on the used market at least? That's where I'm coming from. But that's my personal opinion about it.
No.
Like, when do you mean when you say when? Why? How could it sell for that much more?
Well, I guess $7,100 for any 924 to me seems like I probably wouldn't be willing to go more than that. Like maybe more for a turbo, but in my mind, you've got all these
Like
options.
in today's money?
Yeah, if you're going to spend, let's say $10,000 on a 924, why not go for a 914 that's in maybe slightly rougher condition?
Well, see, that's the difference though, because when you say slightly rougher condition, it's like your Cayenne. You can say, "Well, I paid $3,000 for it," but you do a lot of work yourself.
Yeah.
And the car had a lot of miles on it. This car here isn't going to be a daily driver.
Yeah.
It's going to be a, like you said, a show car, weekend car. I guess comparing like a 914, I would think to get a decent one, you're minimum $20,000.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And that's like I don't have to work on it or do immediate work to it. It's ready to go. 924s suffered the same fate as 914s. People didn't take care of them.
Yep.
So it's hard to find good 924s because of that. Because now that Porsche pricing on vintage cars have gone up, I see more and more 924s showing up on Facebook Marketplace that are just complete pigs.
Oh.
Well, they were
And
the
they're asking
orphan.
top dollar.
Yeah, the 924 became the orphan child when the 944 came out.
Yeah.
Sure.
So 924s, who cares about those?
944 was a huge, and that's when you started.
Yep.
So you started prime time when.
Oh, so much
now
fun
they
to
come with the
sell
944
those.
that's a wide body.
Yeah.
And they
Porsche
say
engine.
this is what Porsche should have built from the beginning. People are saying it was a Porsche design engine, 2.5 liter, but it had the Porsche had already raced the 924 Carrera GTR, so that had the wide wings, the wide flares, and it made the car look phenomenal, just like the 914 6 GT did to the 914. So when people saw the 944, they were like, "This is the way it should have been."
Yeah.
So that was an instant success. Still considered entry level for
Yeah.
Porsche.
But there was a long waiting list
I'm sure.
when I was first
Yeah.
selling them.
But I do look at the 924 and I like the purity of its design.
Yeah.
Like I like how it's like that's the initial way they inked the car.
The 944 had the 924 interior.
Oh,
Yes.
They kept it until 85 and a half.
yeah.
That was the big year, 85 and a half. What the heck?
Finally updated the interior.
Got rid of the VW interior.
So we're still looking at cars that to me seem like a cool buy for a fun weekend cars and coffee kind of car.
Now, 944s also suffered the fate of 924s in that so 944 would go on to make 944 turbos, cabriolets, then go to the
S2,
968 and so
968,
forth.
yeah.
But the basic 8-valve 944 fell into disrepair, and it almost has the same fate as a 924, where when you see one of Cars and Coffee that's all original, maintained, it stands out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of them, people bought really cheap.
I came very close to buying a Guards Red 944, and it was so clapped out, like it barely, like it leaked oil on my parents' driveway as I was test driving it, and my dad's like, "What in the world are you thinking about? Like, no, we are not gonna restore this car." And it was only like $3,000. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Dad, I can get a Porsche for $3,000." My dad said, "Take it back."
Well,
Take it back to the owner.
one of the issues of the 944 was ownership turnover.
Yeah.
Somebody would buy one, oh, they're cheap. And then they'd find out, it's a little fragile, and sell it quickly.
Yeah.
And to find a 944 with only a handful of owners is extremely rare.
Yeah.
Most of them have 15, 20 different owners, and it's very short time frame because the oil leak in the driveway, I got to sell this.
Believe it or not, a really expensive thing for a long, long time was a water pump.
Oh, yes.
Because you also need a special tool to replace a tensioner tool that measured the tension.
I'd forgotten that.
And I remember reading in Panorama and even our local newsletter, people talking about making group buys, or that the club should buy these tools and lend them out.
Yeah.
Because it was, I think, a couple $1,000s to have this tool that would measure the tension. I'm not sure if anyone uses that tool anymore.
Yeah.
To replace the belts, but back then that was the key thing, and the water pump was fairly expensive.
It was.
They really have dropped in price from what they used to be. So clutch and water pump were two things that they would warn
What
you about.
was it the 944 that there was the number 2 rod bearing issue?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that I think became more prevalent in the Trek.
Okay.
In fact, when I started doing driver's ed, they would tell 944 owners to add an extra quart, overfill the engine by a quart to help combat that oil starvation. And number 2, I think, yeah. Yeah, but the 944 was a huge boon for Porsche and PCA.
Oh, yeah.
PCA's membership really skyrocketed in the 80s because of the 944. Brought a much younger audience to the club, much younger audience into Porsche showrooms. And like for Mike, he couldn't have timed it any more perfect than to get in there with the 944 coming out.
Well, at Brumos, we gave complimentary PCA membership for 1 year if you bought a 944, in addition to a day at the track.
Yeah.
So it was.
So when you came, so you saw the end of the SC and then the Carrera, which was a pretty big deal when that came out too.
Yes.
But then we had the Motronic, and so you were like, you nailed it perfectly when the
He rode the wave perfectly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Timing
Show
is
up.
everything,
It
as they
is.
say.
Timing is everything.
That was the beginning of their little glory days.
Well, and you never discounted anything that we sold. I mean, it was sticker price. We didn't gouge, but discount? No. And there was a 20% profit margin, which is very hefty in the industry.
Did everyone want red? Because it
gosh.
seemed like, I remember my when I first joined PC 89, it seemed like everyone had a Guards Red 944.
I have numbers at home. 87, 88, 89, Porsche, 60+% of the cars were Guards Red. 60+%.
Wow.
I loved the car when I wasn't selling and owning them. And then after you started seeing one after the other, Guards Red, no, please,
That's
no
what they
more,
were
no
known
more.
for. I mean,
Black and silver were the
How long was the waiting list?
for 944s, a couple of years long. And
Really?
yeah,
Really?
we had more allocation than any of the other dealers.
Wow.
We had always had a couple in stock that you could actually drive. No one else had that.
Now, since they were built in, I can't pronounce it,
Neckarsulm.
the Audi plant.
Yep.
Was that something that they did European delivery for?
A couple of people did, but it wasn't popular at all. And Porsche, almost to this day, really doesn't like to do the European delivery. They do it, and it's improved. And I've done many of them, but no, just wasn't a big thing. Some of the military people, yes. Army officers, Army people would bring them back because of the shortage here in the U.S.
All right, we've got one more. I know we're at the top of the hour here, and we still have the one car that a lot of people say saved Porsche. And before we get into that, I want to make sure we recognize Auto Atlanta, our corporate sponsor. If you're chasing down Porsche parts that are impossible to find, maybe you're looking for a part for one of these cars that we were just talking about. Either way, Auto Atlanta has you covered. They've been taking care of Porsches, and only Porsches since 1978. Not only do they have parts, but they also ship internationally, and they offer tech advice if you need it. So no matter where you are in the world, if you need to find it online at autoatlanta.com. They also buy and sell pre-owned vehicles. So if you have a car in the garage that needs a new home, or if you're looking for one, give them a call. Whether you're rebuilding a classic or just need a single clip to finish a project, Auto Atlanta has you covered. Head to autoatlanta.com. Be sure to use the PCA discount code. It's PCA, the number 5, OFF, for a 5% off your first order. Again, that's Auto Atlanta, Porsche parts, Porsche people, Porsche passion since 1978. And the car that saved, many people say saved Porsche, the Boxster.
Yep, debuted at the Detroit Auto Show in '93. Was an instant hit.
Yes.
People were handing over money, they said, to be the first to get this car. It was a car that they, surprisingly, when they came with the production version, it looked very similar to the show car version.
Yep.
Yeah.
Slight differences, but overall it was
They nailed
super
it.
close.
They nailed it.
Just the air intake.
Yeah, just a few things, but they kept that same 550 Spider type inspiration. It was Grant Larson, I think, one of his best designs ever.
Yep.
2 trunks,
Yep.
power retractable top that actually went down once again and looked like a 550. Didn't have that Beetle
Bulge.
look that the
Yeah.
911 Cabriolets would have on it. It was
So well balanced.
mid-engine
just-
too.
yeah.
It was I guess they had a waiting list for that one too when that came out.
About 5 to 6 years.
5 to 6 year waiting list.
Yeah.
Wow. So for those of you that are waiting to get on the list, man, it's
That's-
not as bad as it was back then.
Well, we would take $100 deposits to put you on the waiting list. And then when a car became available, we'd call and 2 people would say, no. And then the third guy, oh, yeah. But at least 5 years.
Wow.
Never did we charge over sticker price. It was sticker. And unlike the other cars that we've talked about today, the Boxster was I never heard anything like it's a poor man's Porsche. I never heard negative comments.
When it first came out?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was pretty much universally accepted
Yeah.
as this is a real Porsche mid-engine, all the attributes we've just talked about. It was pretty.
But then it fell into the hairdresser's car.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You know that because and when they came out with the S, of course everyone said this is the proper Porsche. This is what it should have been from the beginning
Yep.
and whatnot. But the 201 horsepower in that car was a lot.
Oh,
I
it's
mean, it
fun to
wasn't.
drive.
I'll be the first one to say it wasn't a snap your back, your head into your headrest type thing, but it was definitely a fun car.
Well, it was $39,990, and that was really entry level Porsche back then, because you were looking at 911 was 70.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a big price break, and a lot. That was also during the .com era, and I had a flat panel monitor at my desk at the dealership. Everyone else had big CRT monitors.
Yeah.
And all the AOL people and all the .com kids who were making lots of money would walk into the showroom and immediately see this flat panel monitor.
Gravitated to
It was
you.
like
Yeah.
bees to honey.
That's
Hey,
funny.
man, where'd you get that flat panel? I said, oh, yeah. And that was an opener to, let me take a deposit for you on a brand new Boxster. So
It's nice to see. I know, just like all the other cars now, like for a while there, these affordable Boxsters kind of were neglected. Lots of owners.
Yep.
Some ended up crushed or whatever, or modified to some crazy, whatever. But now, if you see a clean, 98 97, 98, 99 Boxster, like that, it's a cool sight to see.
Yep.
Their size, my wife Loanne has a Zenith blue one, and it's so compact and it's so fun to drive, and it's it revs to the moon and handles very well, and it's very simple, not a whole lot of options in the car.
And as the years progressed, we have that Porsche evolutionary as opposed to revolutionary. The Boxster really did have some nice improvements, not huge, but over the years they just improved the car so much that it was easy to sell the 2-year-old car, a new car, to a guy who had a 2-year-old, 3-year-old car. Say, look at the change, drive the car, see how much they've improved it. So,
and for those of you that are considering a Boxster, I will say also they're quite fun to work on. Like they're fairly easy to work on. There's not a whole lot of electronics in it.
True.
Yeah, and there's tons of resources out there for those of you that are looking to DIY stuff. And of course, a lot of these cars end up in club racing and the spec Boxster program. So there's people doing things to these cars so that you can make them durable and easily as a daily driver. Even if you want, like, the air conditioning systems in these cars are very modern.
Oh yeah,
and you can sit in traffic. It's
As another anecdote, so the first Boxsters come into the showroom and everybody's there to come and see it. The question that was asked 9 out of 10 times is, "Where's the engine?"
yeah,
Because you couldn't see the engine.
right.
And the next question was, "Where do I put my golf clubs?" So we would keep a set of golf clubs in the trunk of a Boxster and say, "You don't need to see the engine because you never have to work on it."
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's what I remember when they first came out. People would complain that they're like, "I work on my own cars, and you can't. There's not even an engine lid I can get to my engine."
Yeah.
And I always say, "What are you going to do to the car?"
Yeah.
There's no what spark plug changes were 30 or 40,000 miles. I said there's no valve adjustments anymore.
Yep.
And you can get to the engine, but it's not anything like the 914 was as far as maintenance goes.
Yeah.
So it's to this day it's
Loanne's
something that people can
car,
work on themselves easily.
Oil changes. And
have an access panel to get to the
Access, easy.
to get to the water pump and belts and everything. It's fairly
and
easy.
still quite the bargain. Damon, you had a car up there. Let's get an example here. Car that was sold just last month, a 43,000 mile 97
with the hard top.
With a hard top, 15.5. 15.5.
Wow.
For all your friends and family members that said, "Oh, I want to get into the Porsche game," you can for 15.5. If you don't want to pick up, that maybe the 924 is too old school for you, but if you want a modern driving car with basic amenities that you need in a modern car,
to Damon's point, I would look at that car and say, unless you're in love with 944s, for 15,000, I would get a Boxster.
Get a Boxster, yeah.
Yep.
And that's the thing too, because you'll see people spending. I've seen people spend $10,000 on a 924. You could also spend $10,000 on a nice Boxster.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to be like poo-pooing on the 924. I owned a 944 and loved it, but man, when
if you compare apples to apples, like two beautiful, ready to go cars, that's closer. Not ones that need work, and I think, but
it's a personal preference.
Sure,
thing.
yeah. Some people love 924s or 914s, and
some people had that 944 as a poster car, and it's not really about pure performance. It's about this is part of my childhood.
If I see a beautiful early 944, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
If I had the space, I would park one of those and get one just to have before someone buys it and doesn't take care of it.
Well, so much of it is perception, and it's generational. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Someone in their 20s or 30s, they'd look at a Boxster and go, "No, I'd like one of those cool 914s."
That's my son. He's 21, and he loves 944.
Yep.
I mean, he likes all cars, but he really gravitates around, especially with the whole Radwood thing in the past couple years. Like it's a cool ride.
But for the Boxster, it's a heck of a buy.
Oh yeah.
If
Yep.
it's a common car, they made 357 Boxsters, and by 2021 they had built 357, sold 357 Boxsters and Caymans.
357,000.
Yeah.
But the important thing is, when we say this all the time, especially when we highlight them in Mart Fresh, is buy them right. Buy them, get a PPI. We have at least half a dozen videos how to make sure you stay away from cars that are going to cost you money. And even if that nice car that was for 15.5, I would still set aside about $5,000 to take that car to your favorite mechanic and go, front to back and just kind of reset everything. And then from there, you just kind of enjoy it.
And you can't say that loudly enough.
That
it's critical that you do that. Critical.
Exactly. Let me, before we get into the question of, what do we think next of the next what might be the next entry-level Porsche, I want to remind you to head over to PCA.org and sign up for PCA's newsletters, Performance News, eBrake News, and Mart Fresh, all free. What do we think? Will there be? There has to be, but what will it be, the next entry-level Porsche?
I don't think it's going to be a sports car.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be a compact SUV.
More than likely, yeah, because that's what sells.
Yeah.
I think their plans of sticking with the top line Cayman Boxster will be what they do.
Yeah.
Because I agree with Damon. I think it's going to be a hybrid system, and that's not cheap.
Yeah.
So,
but before you poo-poo the idea of them coming out with a reasonably priced entry-level four-door SUV, let's hope that they do well with that, because if they do well with that, then they can continue the two-door cars that us enthusiasts want.
As a interesting question, all the development costs, research on electric vehicles, that's sitting there at Porsche. They've got a Cayman, they've got the 718, all that EV technology, it's sitting on the shelf. So
they never said they're stopping any of the EVs. If you read into it, the headlines make you think that they're shifting, but the Porsche never said we're not coming out with this. They're just trying to fill in the gap until the EVs become more popular, and they just want to stay above water by making something that can hold them through this.
Well, just food for thought, though. All of that technology, EV technology, could be the very next introductory level new Porsche. Sports car as well.
Down the road.
I would love a rear-wheel drive, single motor Boxster Cayman. Yeah, that would be electric.
That'd be fun.
Electric. That would be
instantaneous torque.
Its time will come. Its time will come. Speaking of all this tech, I'm just going to hop into Porsche news. We have this tech award for wireless charging.
Yeah, so we talked about this a few months ago. This is where you basically you drive your car over top this pad. Obviously, you put it in your garage, and you don't have to plug anything in. It's just like if you ever charge your phone wirelessly.
Yep.
You lie down and you see your phone light up with the little plug-in symbol, and it's charging. And then you can just walk away from it. You don't need any wires. You don't need fumbling for your USB-C cable. It's all wireless. And so this is the same thing with this wireless charging pad. You'll pull up, it'll say you want to start charging or whatnot, and automatically start charging. You don't have to plug anything in.
And this is for your home, but I think down the road there's probably going to be a commercial application, and all cars will have some sort of standard that instead of you rolling up to put fuel in your car or plugging the thing in, you just park in the parking lot of your grocery store, and while it's parked there, you get universal charging. So again, it's coming. It's just that the transition time might be a little bit longer than they originally anticipated. This is something that's not very common here. This next article here that Manny pointed out, and it talks about incentives ahead of January's price increases.
Yeah, so if you, let me see if I can pull this up here. Actually, Damon has it on the screen. It actually listed the incentives, and they were pretty cool. I think if you scrolled, is that... Scroll down a little bit more, Damon, maybe. Here we go. Return lessees up to $2,500 cash back. 5.9% financing. Conquest credit, so that means if you're coming from another brand.
$4,500 off?
$4,500.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So it's unusual, I think, you don't see Porsche doing too many,
No.
at least advertising a whole lot of incentives. They may do stuff with the dealer, but it's never something I see them advertising. So.
Yeah. And what I found interesting was the Macans and the Macan Electrics. They're within $50 of each other, $9.99 a month. That's Yep. So very, very interesting.
Shows you the polarization of that market
Absolutely.
currently.
Absolutely.
So if you're thinking about buying one, it might be time to stop by the dealer to see how real the deals are.
And before you pass judgment, test drive them.
Oh,
It
yes,
might just
yes.
change your mind.
I actually saw a Macan Electric in Hartford County.
Oh, I've seen them. I've seen them
Yeah,
around.
it's like, wow.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Hey.
All right, upcoming events. Tech Tactics East, February 21st and 22nd in Easton, Pennsylvania. Registration opens January 7th. Hope to see you there. Usually we have a great time. It's cold outside, so come hang out with us at the Porsche facility there. Works Reunion, Amelia Island on March 6th. Believe it or not, the Judge area is sold out. We still have corral areas still open, so looking forward to seeing you there. We'll be back at the Amelia River Golf Course, and we'll look forward to some warm weather. March 6th, Works Reunion.
And I'm calling out Rich for not registering for Amelia Island, and he cannot complain that we don't have cars that he has. Low-hanging fruit cars. 'Cause we told him it's perfect timing for his 924 Turbo, his 944 Turbo.
And he didn't. He's not coming.
It's more than 5 minutes from his house.
Oh gosh! All right. Also, want to remind you that Treffin at Sea 2026 registration is open there. We sail September 19th. Registration is open. We've got Alan Springer, we've got Bruce Meyer, we've got Nathan Mers, and probably best of all is this is a wine cruise that's going to go out of Vancouver, stop in San Francisco, stop in Santa Barbara, and we will end up in LA. And each time we come to port, we've got some special excursions awaiting you.
So we have more days at sea with this cruise, which means you got to come up with more entertainment, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and we'll have a good time. If you're looking to race other PCA members online, check out PCASimRacing.com. We'll get you set up in how to race. We also have been streaming a lot of these races, so if you want to check it out, just head over to our YouTube channel and check out the live area. PCA Insider Swag, you can get bottles, mugs, T-shirts at the PCA web store, PCAwebstore.org. And if you're looking for decals, just send us your address information to podcast@PCA.org. Well, gentlemen, and all you listeners, I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Looking forward to seeing many of you in 2026. Looking forward to our 200th episode. Manny and I try to put something together, something fun there. And until then, thank you for listening. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Consider sharing our show with fellow Porsche enthusiasts. Michael, thank you for joining us again.
Thanks, Fu.
Damon and Manny, thank you
Thanks,
for a great year. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you down the road.